Welcome to today's Willpower Moment. I'm Dr. James Meschino. Our topic today is the power of mindful eating. Most people agree that eating foods we like is a source of great pleasure. And pleasure is represented in the brain by the release of the feel-good chemical known as dopamine. Just the anticipation of most rewards, from food to sex to shopping for something we desire to playing a sport or going to a concert to achieving career success, is driven largely by the release of dopamine when we think about or anticipate having or doing these things. Dopamine drives us to seek the anticipated reward. That's how it works. Now, if dopamine levels decline due to certain illnesses or from the use or overuse of certain illicit drugs, then a person usually loses motivation and drive in many areas of their life. But for most of us, dopamine drives us to a large degree in terms of our behaviors. Now, for people who are prone to overeating, the dopamine rush can be a bit hazardous, as it can perpetuate overeating and binge eating behavior. However, there is a way to overcome this problem if you find yourself a victim of dopamine in this way. So here's how it works. Let's say you go to a movie theater and smell the popcorn, or you go to your favorite steak or chop house, or you smell the pastries and donuts on the street as you walk by your favorite pastry shop, or you or someone else who's preparing one of your favorite dishes for dinner that night. Just the anticipation of consuming these items, coupled with the smell and appearance of the popcorn, the coffee, the donuts, the pastry, your favorite food, can literally send your brain into dopamine overdrive. And in a state of dopamine overdrive, the anticipation of pleasure and indulging in these foods can trigger a form of binge eating, or at least rapid food consumption, whereby you're eating at such a quick pace that you're barely even tasting the food. This, of course, can lead to overeating, coupled with weight gain, elevated blood sugar and cholesterol, and so on. Let's just say that this type of dopamine-driven behavior gets a lot of people in trouble and blocks many people from losing excess weight or improving their health parameters. But if you look back at moments like this in your own life, you'll realize that eating the whole 8 to 12 ounce steak, or the big movie theater bag of popcorn, or the big serving of cake or pastry or ice cream, or, in my case, the gigantic bowl of pasta, although I've also been a victim of the big bag of movie theater popcorn as well, it doesn't actually leave you feeling better. At some point, shortly after you rapidly consume the whole serving size, you realize that you ate too much. You don't feel well. You're stuffed and lethargic, and you feel a bit ridiculous for not having had a little more self-control. The truth is that often the look and smell of the food that you're driven to eat is better than the taste of the food after a certain volume of the food has been consumed. So the taste pleasure you derive usually starts to decline as more of the same is consumed. But our dopamine centers, they trick us into making us keep going, convincing us that there's more reward to come if we just keep eating. But there isn't. More of a good thing often decreases the pleasure derived from the thing. Pacing out our pleasures in life provides more pleasure than constant pleasure indulgence when you look at results from happiness surveys. And this is especially true when it comes to food. So when binge eaters are asked to slow down the pace of their eating, concentrate on every mouthful and how their body is feeling, they start to recognize when they are becoming content and the taste of the food is no longer titillating their taste buds to the same degree. And this enables you to stop in advance of overeating or stuffing yourself into a state of physical and emotional regret. And this is known as mindful eating. So here are some of the ways to apply mindful eating in your everyday life. If you like movie theater popcorn, order the kiddie combo, a small but sufficient serving of popcorn. It usually comes with a small drink. Make it sugar-free, like soda water would be a great example. And give the candy or the candy bar to someone else. I will tell you, after eating the small serving of popcorn slowly, I think you'll realize, like I did, that you don't really need the gigantic bag of popcorn. At a pastry shop, have the biscotti or the donut hole or something small if you need a little treat. Have the kiddie-size iced gelato, low-fat frozen yogurt or sorbet in a cup if you drop into an ice cream shop. Order the smaller size of meat or fish on the menu. Have the chicken breast instead of the half chicken, or have one chicken skewer instead of two. And don't eat all the rice or potatoes or bread that may come with a meal. Have some, but not all. Be mindful of how much you're consuming relative to your actual level of hunger. Same with pasta. It's best served as a small side dish, not a main course, if you're going to have it. In the end, realize before you start that your dopamine centers, once triggered by the anticipation of the reward, food in this case, will initially tell you that more is better. The truth is that less is more when it comes to pleasure. It's less is more when it comes to pleasure, ongoing satisfaction, achieving a better looking body, healthier blood chemistry, sense of self-control, sense of self-esteem. So practice mindful eating. Start with a smaller serving size. Eat more slowly. Taste every mouthful. And recognize when you feel content, at which point more of the same doesn't provide any more real pleasure. So what's the point of continuing? Just stop at that point, recognizing that there will be other opportunities to eat in the near future, usually the same day. So it's not an all or nothing proposition. Okay, recognize when your brain is going into dopamine overdrive. Catch yourself in the moment. Slow the action down, take a breath, order the smaller serving size or the less damaging item, eat more slowly, concentrating on each mouthful. And recognize when you feel content, at which point eating more is not really producing the same hit of intense taste bud pleasure. And stop eating at that point. So if any of this resonates with you, then mindful eating is an important way to overcome dopamine overdrive, binge eating, and overeating. It really works. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.